was born in it.
Let's go. The name is Law Nation. Without hesitations nor deviations to the matter, be sure to hit that like button, share this content. Let's talk about it. Cowboys game will be for Mike, McCarthy, and beyond, plus more. Mama said there'll be days just like this.
Are you not entertained?
Come on.
Are you not entertained?
Let's go. As the room fill up, be sure, sharing is caring. So share this content around the world.
I want me some glory hole.
Come on. Hey. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Yeah. What about a Law Nation groove, baby? Come on. Come on. Mama said there'll be days just like this, right? Come on.
Because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
Come on. What's up, everybody? Appreciate y'all so much for tuning in and being part of this. If you guys checked out the Mike McCarthy press conference, let me know in the chat, and we will be able to talk a little bit about that. And then we'll give you guys some updates about, Sam and Malik Hooker, as well as, of course, Ezekiel, Elijah Elliott. I will talk about those things. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. The name is Law Nation. Let me know if the audio's straight. Let me know if I'm too high, too low. Let me know, Cowboy Nation, because I build a plane while it's in the air, and you guys are my producers, right? Come on, baby. All right. What's good with you, Jameson Taylor? Appreciate you. And shout out to Iceberg. Appreciate y'all, man, so much. And Trace Adams and Boogie Doss. Appreciate you. Jason Horn on the Facebook. Manny, shout out to you. And see, Nick says everything is fresh and good and clear. So we would talk about this a little bit. The whole aspect of Odell Beckham, right? And Mike McCarthy in his presser, he sounded just like Stephen Jones, right? We like our guys. He said in the press conference, he pretty much like his wide receiver core, and he didn't sully or denigrate Odell Beckham. He still have good praises and thoughts for him. But from his mindset, he was like, basically, all right, yeah, he's good, but I like our guys. And I'm telling you guys, you already know, get mad at me.
Simply because you don't have evidence that something does exist does not mean that you have evidence that something doesn't exist.
And what else?
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns, things we don't know that we don't know.
That's James Washington. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I just do this all the time because he's about a week out. He will be inserted into some more Britt Brown works today or and down through the week. But the Cowboys front office, they think that they got something out of James Washington, and he could be that hit and sauce or that missing element that the Cowboys need to help out on the wide receiver groove. Now, here's my 1,000 troops. I'm gonna say this again, and until I sound like a broken record. I don't really care about the wide receivers like that, Because what it is that if you stick to the philosophy and the formula of running the ball, everything else will work its way out. Ain't this right? So regardless of it, so when James Washington is 100%, we'll find out. Now, could you get a little bit better in situations and scenario down the line if you fool around and pick up a Odell Beckham? Yeah. In my mind, I truly believe that Odell is better than James, right? Washington, better than Noah Brown, right? There's no comparisons there, right? But the philosophy still should be run the rock. And I don't want to hear people say, man, we don't need no help at wide receiver. And then when we need a wide receiver, a third of the Cowboy Nation will be like, hey, man, we should have got a wide receiver. No, it don't work that way. And I don't want to hear people say, well, Lord, we don't need a wide receiver. We need a cornerback. Well, trade deadline is over with, right? We don't need a cornerback. We need a guy that can stop the run. Well, they picked up big Jonathan Hankins. What else you want from him, right? He did his job, where if you guys just pump the brakes and watch the tape, you see that they're running on the edges. We got to get edge control. But there's nothing you can do now outside of knocking on the door with hopes and prayers, bringing in Sue to help alleviate the run. But like once again, they're running on the outside, not the inside. So Sue won't even be able to help you. And plus, just like the same argument that somebody said that, hey, Odell haven't played all off season. He haven't been in anybody's training camp. Well, so have Sue. Sue have not been in anybody's training camp. So it's one of those situations. But neither here nor there. The Cowboys saying that they like their guys. I truly believe that this will be some news that's stirred around, and it'll be talked about until he signed with another team, and that's Odell Beckham. But we'll play some audio about this. But before we get into those details there, let me say this right quick. The NFL, just like I said last night on my previous show, it's wide open. It is wide open. And this game for Mike McCarthy, going back to Wisconsin's, is everything, right?
It's a bidding war. Are they really going to get involved in a bidding war? Or are they going to say, Odell, 1 year, $2 million? You know, the Cowboys brand, you know what they can do for you?
We're going to boost your brand, as if the guy who just won a Super Bowl and was on his way to winning the Super Bowl MVP needs a brand boost.
You ever seen I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker? that scene with Chris Rock where he goes in and he's talking to Isaac Hayes and he's like, give me one rib. They're like, one order of ribs. And he's like, no, I just want one rib. And he's like, how much is your soda? They're like, $1. And he's like, can you just pour some in my hand for 15 cents?
Sure.
Like, that's the Cowboys negotiating with top tier free agents.
All right, so basically it's a bidding war for Odell Beckham. And, you know, normally when there's a bid out there on a player, especially if he's long in the tooth and he's not homegrown and a whole bunch of other things, we lose out on those things. Because from the philosophy of the Cowboys front office, it's saying, hey, we'll give you $2 million. You come over here, you play, you have a Johnny good time. You'll forever be branded with the Cowboys star, right? Shield, logo. Your opportunities to be in broadcasting and beyond will be wonderful. It'll be stupid good. But on the flip side, I heard on the podcast with Odell Beckham, and here's before I get real deep into it. Sometimes fame is not what people look for, right? We can perceive to assume that he's looking for the fame. He's already got the fame, right? One thing we all adore, something worth dying for. There's nothing but pain. We stuck in this game, searching for fortune and fame. Some people looking for fame, but no, man, this dude is like a ring collector, right? He looking for a contender. But what I heard from Odell Beckham's mouth, right? He was on a podcast. He was saying that basically he's tired of going to city. He's looking for something long stay, right? Where he just had a child, right? And I don't know if he jumped a broom or not with the lady, but he just had a child, right? And he's looking to settle down. He ain't the guy with the pink hair and the golden beard, right? Or what have you. The gold hair with the pink beard, whatever. Putting dye everywhere. He literally looking like me over here. Black beard with a mohawk, right? You know, so he's changing a little bit and he just want to play for an area that he can sit back and say, hey, this is where I'm going to retire at. Sadiqwa, appreciate you so much for the first super chat. Thank you so much for being the first one. Ain't nothing like the first one. Let me hit it again. Lord, I pray everyone is doing well. How about them Cowboys? DC 4L for life. You don't see an S at the end of that, right? Y'all don't see no S there. You see DC for life, not for short. See, some people DC for S, hers DC for L, for life, baby. I love it. Appreciate you so much. Tupac, yeah, baby. Exactly. Odell Beckham is ready. Yeah. So how much are you willing to look into that, right?
Is that they just want to...
And I'm okay with that philosophy.
Mm-hmm. Except now. Go for it. You didn't make the deal for Cooks, fine. You didn't want to give up the capital for Cooks. You didn't want to pay the full contract. Whatever it was, fine. You need a difference maker. If you really want to win a Super Bowl, if you really want to contend right now, go for it. Odell Beckham is a game changer for this team.
Who agree and who disagree? Odell Beckham saga, and here's the craziest thing of it all. What you do during the off season predicate how you be talked about during the season, right? And I'm quite sure if the Cowboys took care of business during the off season, we wouldn't have this conversation now, right? If the Cowboys went on ahead and said, hey, you solidify your spot, you don't have to be talking about it now. That's just how it goes. And that's why we're talking about it. Like, here's my other 1,000 truths. And it's hard to contextualize it in this fashion, but I got to. With CeeDee Lamb. I think in the hearts of hearts, he is a one. He is the number one wide receiver on this team. But some people say he's not a real one. He's a two. He's a slight two or what have you. No, he's a developing wide receiver who was drafted in the first round. And I know that word developing is a harsh word. No, it's not. People want everything ready-made. People want Jerry Rice year one, year two. People want the playmaker year one, year two. No. The conditions and how this guy is set up is favorable, believe it or not. But what we're asking for is supplements, right? We're asking the Cowboys front office, hey, that kid right there, he's good, but just put a little supplement in his food, right? The baby is crying. Some people put a little rice in there, you know what I'm saying? Put a little grits in there or whatever, mix it with a little formula. Make sure that the child is nourished enough, right? That's what people are saying, right? There was no wide receiver controversy when just last year, put a little rum in there. That's the baby teething, You put a little rum in there so the baby can stop teething, right? But here's the thing, and don't y'all do that. Consult your pediatrician. Don't take nothing from me. Shout out to Facebook, by the way, But here's the thing, though, Cowboy Nation. No one was saying that, hey, Cooper Kupp needed help. Oh, man, you can't reach out to Odell. He would take away the shine, baby. He would take away the gloss. No, look, if you're about winning, you just try to get better in every spot. That's just how it is. So we got the spoon feed. Yeah, some babies, Verdi, you got to spoon feed them. And sometimes you got to burp the baby, You got to take that. The baby is delicate, So, and some babies are different. Y'all know, y'all had kids, right? Children. Y'all had a lot of them. Some of them have over 10 that's watching right now. But each one is different. You can't look at 88, this version of 88, and put him in the box of Dez Bryant. Nor could anybody put Dez in the box of the playmaker or Antonio Bryant when we had him here for a cup of coffee, right? and Drew Pierce. So, Pearson. So we got all of those things that you got to handle these players differently. And some players will gravitate a little bit more when they have help. Law. Do you have any truths to that? I seen Kirk Cousins just yesterday. He didn't throw phenomenal, right? He didn't have a crazy game, but it helped when they brought in TJ, right? Hawkinson. It helped the other guy, by the way. What's his name? Justin Jefferson, right? Yeah, and it helps him by always having Adam Thielen. But what most people tend to do is to say, hey, Justin is doing it all by himself, right? Like the other guy, Thielen, is not there on the team, right? Who is a veteran, by the way. You see, so we got to understand that not one glove fit all. Come on. Appreciate y'all so much. You got the hot girls in here. Let me show you what's hot right there. You get on out of here. Block them. Let's shake that over there. All right, so just imagine Lamb, Odell Beckham, Gallup on the same team at the same time, baby. Yeah, steady. Appreciate you so much. So you get what I'm saying, Cowboy Nation. I'm just trying to keep it real with y'all, man.
Assuming that he comes back as good as he was last year, which I have no doubt that he will be 100% healthy, like eventually. But that first handful of games back, I mean, we're talking about the guy. The guy did this in February.
Yeah, it's not long ago.
It's 9 months, man. That's 9
but
months ago.
But in the modern era, like these ACLs aren't. Those injuries are not the same injury.
It's not a 2-year recovery. It's not.
Not
but
anymore,
there is an
yeah.
element to that first year back or those first handful of games, and this is not going to be a full year. They would get him, and it'd be a handful of games before the playoffs start.
The meat of the schedule, you mean?
The meat of the schedule. I just don't know that you're going to get that he is a game changer. He'd be a game changer next year.
Let's say this.
Yeah, no, that is an option for next year. You buy it into the future, not into the now. But every step could be in a step of the right direction. Sadiqa, she with another. The sponsor of this show today is Sadiqa Charles. Appreciate you so much. Law, how are you and the family doing? Another thing, Law, there are over 240 in here and only 76 likes. This is brought to you guys.
Shame. Shame. Shame.
Shame on y'all, man, for watching and not hitting that like button, nor sharing this content. Sharing is caring. Shout out to you, Everett Smith. Appreciate you. Thomas Buss. Appreciate you. Greg Ellison. Appreciate you. Justin Ross. Thank you. See, I'm seeing Facebook side. They doing their thing. Every time they like, I get that little button right there, and I appreciate you. Jonathan Durden. Appreciate you as well. Do you think we'll take the Packers lightly because of their record? This is from Leon Lewis. I gotta hit you with the shame.
Shame.
You my dog, Leon.
Shame.
No.
Shame.
No. 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 What is our profession? Let me yell it out.
Spartans! What is your profession?
This is Sparta!
Let's go. Let's go.
Are you not entertained?
Let's go.
Are you not entertained?
If it's anyone, and I'm gonna get to that point. If anyone would love to beat, dare I say, the Packers, would be the Dallas Cowboys and Mike McCarthy. Let me see if I can find that tweet right now. I hope I reshared it. This is on my Twitter page. And this was earlier today. Please let me know that I shared the thing. Yes, I did. My due diligence. J-Ron Curse on Mike McCarthy's return to Green Bay. We want to get this one for our head coach, being that he was there for some years. They even named a street after him, right? Won a championship. They're in just going out here taking care of business for him. That's enough motivation for us to go out here and do something, or go out there and do something. So if anybody think that this game is just a walk in the park, we're going to take it lightly.
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
Because I'm quite sure that these guys, they looking at this thing and they going to want to.
Finish him!
They're going to want to finish them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to want to bring everything, including the kitchen sink and the plumber, just in case, to beat down the Green Bay Packers. Yeah, so we're going to get there. Before I get too deep into that, let me just play the rest of this one right quick.
Is he a team changer? Even if he's not a game changer, with what he could do and how he could improve that receiving core and how he could make them better, does he change the makeup of this team? Does he make this team more dangerous? Regardless of if he's
absolutely.
So if he makes your team better, and it's at a position that you need to get better right now, where you're not getting things out of Jalen Tolbert that you want. Michael Gallup has not come back the way you wanted. CeeDee Lamb's been good. CeeDee Lamb, if we're being very honest, has not been the guy that they wanted him to be, stepping up and being that number one. But don't you want to get him in here now?
Right. So the argument could still be the same for Odell Beckham. If Gallup is not the same, who is to say, and I'm not throwing any jabs at my guy, Bobby Belt. I think he's a legend over there. Shout out to Bobby Belt and the other guy that's on the panel. We don't know. It goes all the way back to the...
Well, what I'm saying is that there are known knowns and that there are known unknowns, but there's also unknown unknowns. Things we don't know that we don't know.
We just don't know.
So you understand the words I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
So my thing is, ladies and gentlemen, it's a 50-50. Like, it goes to this point, though. It goes to this point. When prime time in 1994, at the end of that year, he was a free agent, right? Now, he could have went to a host of other teams, right? He could have went anywhere. The Cowboys had to reach in their pocket to grab him. Would you rather have him, and I'm not putting Odell Beckham and prime in the same conversation, but I am. Hold tight. This is going to be a rocky ride. Would you rather have him on your team versus on someone else's team? It's like that's what the situation is right now. A wise philosopher once said, I would rather have them inside the tent pissing out than outside the tent pissing in. Contextualize that. Put that into your mind's sake, that you want the enemy, if he is that said enemy, inside versus him going to another team, help elevating that other team. Think about this. The dude this offseason got his ring sized, right? He done lift up a Lombardi trophy. What other motivation do you need to bring in, right? We got the haves and the have-nots, right? You got people who been there and done that. So it's a different story on somebody telling you the process that did it versus somebody telling you the process that never done it. Write that down, too. Parsons with 2.5 sacks and a forced fumble. This is from my guy, Jay Lombardi, with the super chat. Let me give you a bell. There we go. Right? So I want somebody who been there and done it, right? Who was on the team that similar to our team, right? If you think about it, if you really go line for line and player for player, the last year Rams team is pretty much very similar. Not the same, but very similar to this team, right? We got the explosive weapons, right? We got the pieces on defense. Last year, the Rams defense was the number one defense in the National Football League, right? And we're on pace to heading that way if we tie up a few ends on the run situation. But I want that momentum of bringing in someone who been there before versus someone who never been, right? Who can tell you about it, but never hit it, So I want somebody who hit it. So let's go. Let's get this thing going the best way possible from whatever else they have to say on that.
Get him in here now. Let him improve your team, even if he's not up to elite level. I get it. He's 30. He's had 2 injuries to that knee.
30, yeah.
You pay him $20 million a year?
Nah.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, just get it.
Okay, he said he
pay
would.
him whatever. Get it done. Get him in. Well, you tell me it takes. You'll write whatever check it takes. Prove it. Show me. Because you're showing me you didn't want to pay $20 million to Amari Cooper. You tried to.
No. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Let me preface my statement just a little bit. All right. So if Odell Beckham is asking for $20 million. All I'm saying is, Cowboy Nation, I'm not moonwalking back. But what I'm saying is that, hold on, put the butter knife down. Don't paint me into a corner, baby. $20 million, you might as well keep Amari Cooper. But this will paint the picture that, hey, you made the mistake, because I think Amari Cooper was willing to negotiate his contract or reconstruct his contract to stay. But you send the man off to Cleveland, and that's where no one really shined in Cleveland. You could at least put him to Cincinnati. They would probably won the Super Bowl, right? But you send him off to Cleveland. You send him off Cleveland, and let me take that back because Cincinnati went to the Super Bowl. But you send the man off to Cleveland. He left from right to dead, and that's where all wide receivers go, and they never be heard again. So, and shout out to Jarvis Landry. My thing is, Cowboy Nation, is if you do that, then you have to pivot and say, yeah, we made a mistake. Now we're going to pay for a guy who had 2 ACL tears, who's older, by the way, because I think he's really older than Amari Cooper. Yeah. I know he's older than Amari Cooper. And the only thing that you can say that Odell Beckham brings to the table that Amari Cooper don't bring to the table is, one is a silent assassin, right? And the other is he's going to bark. He's going to flex on you. He's going to growl at you, So, yeah. So that's just what it is.
Do the whole, I just want one rib to Dak Prescott. Mess that negotiation up. In fact, the one negotiation that you went, here, have it all, was to the freaking running back. Show me that you really believe this team is a contender. Show me that you really believe this team can win a Super Bowl.
I don't know that they believe that.
Yeah. Boy, we all over the place now. The time to strike, if you truly believe that this team is that team for the Super Bowl, would have been before the trade deadline. Not after. You would have said, you know what? I feel that we push everything to the center of the table and we go get a young, thriving guy that you can build upon, right? And then you wouldn't lose a lot of sleep on the younger guy. If and I don't care who it is at this point. And I know that the Seattle Seahawks are, winning or what have you. But that younger guy would have been like a DK, or if you push everything to the center of the table and say, hey, I truly believe that this is the best. This is the best one right here. This is the best one right here. If you truly believe, without a shadow of a doubt, that this team is going straight for that Lombardi trophy, and you have your reservations as it relates to wide receivers, instead of pushing all of your money in the middle of the table on Odell, man, you could have put that dog away and push all of your money to the center of the table for DJ and gave whatever the Panthers are looking for, first round. If they're looking for a first and a second, you can say, hey, a first and a second or a first and a third. Because in your mind, you're looking at it like, shoot, a first round draft pick, oh, I'm winning the Super Bowl. That's a 32nd pick. You can have it. I'm getting DJ. I'm having D. Y'all get what I'm saying? I'm having Lamb, DJ, and Gallup, and then you can sprinkle in a Noah Brown and all of that other stuff, right? Randall Hillis says, we got people now, though, Law, that we haven't even seen what they got. It would be good to have a veteran wide receiver in the locker room. We need a game changer, right? I'm going to give you that. I feel what you're saying. You know, that's to the argument of that, right? That's to the argument of that, right? Let me put my button there. Here we go. That is the whole argument to that, right? So Randall, and I'm speaking to Randall, because I was understanding, I was with the impressions that Odell won 13 to 14 million, right? And I'm not trying to count the man money. I'm not trying to be Stephen Jones over here. I'm not. No. But Randall, for that veteran, for that type of insurance policy, are you willing to pay the man $20 to maybe $21 million for Odell Beckham? I'm just having a conversation with Randall. I want to have a conversation with Randall. And I'm going to get right with you, Mike. Randall, just let me know, Randall. Hillis, appreciate you. Are you willing? Are you willing to pay Odell Beckham $20 to $21 million? Because I was under the impression that, hey, 13, maybe 14, maybe that around, you know, pay it. That's from Terrell C. And it's not my money. It's not my money, you know. Now, 2 years, $20 million, what you give him, how much of that guarantee was 15, 16? 18 to 20 is kind of the going rate, though. Christian Kirk got 21. He's okay, but some of these dudes, no to 20 mil. Brandon Cooks is legit. I'll take T.Y. Hilton for T.Y. Hilton. Let me see what the super chat. Appreciate you for the super chat. Mike says, thanks for representing us, Law. You are a true class. You know. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you for your support. So the higher the dollar amount really don't mean anything as far as the length of the years, because what he said in his podcast is that he wanted to be somewhere where he can retire or spend out majority of his time. So Odell Beckham is looking for a long-term contract, right? So typically somebody of his work ethic, he's 30 years of age, maybe he can play up to the year 34. I don't know. Maybe he can go beyond that. I don't know. Maybe he can play all the way until he's 40. Who knows? So when we look at those things, right, would you be willing to present that to him? And then that will be the thing that we have to all face.
I think they do. I think they believe it can contend, but I think they believe they can do it for their price.
I tell you what, let's meet in the middle. Thank you, Verdi, for the super chat. AJ Jones, appreciate you for the like. Ed Parker, thank you. Wade, thank you. Nicole Thompson, appreciate you. Those are all on the Facebook. Here's my thing, though. And if you develop a contract with conditions, right, and say, okay, well, if you get this amount of plays, this amount of targets, as far as receiving yards or what have you, then we will give you extra bonuses, incentives. An incentive-based contract for Odell, I'm all down for it, because it's a win-win situation for us and a win-win situation for him, because if he's betting on his 2 ACL tears that he will be back to the Odell Beckham that he said that he will be, or that he's assured that he want, then we could justify the means of paying the man $20 million, right? So it could be literally a $14 million contract, but with type of incentives, and I don't know if you can do that, right? With $6 extra million worth of incentives and be like, all right, cool, here you go, incentive-based contract. This is about padding. Coach Marv says this talk is about paying Odell. Yeah. If that push comes to shove, because for right now it's a bidding war, Coach Marv, and normally the Cowboys don't win on bids because we look at the total brand, right? Like, you playing in Cowboys land, you gonna make your extra money. It's gonna be already here. It's gonna be at the table because you got the star, the shield, the brand name itself. You're going to get multiple commercials, right? That's how they going to that's how the Jones family kind of parlay it, right? Like, yeah, you come to Cowboys land, we got workout facilities, state of the art. We got a TV. You going to be on Prime. And don't y'all know that the players get a cut of the jersey sales, right? So, hey, your jersey going to be increased. You're going to get more and more money and opportunities to get this and that. Come on, take this discount. Come play for the Shield, the Star, the America's team. That's a part of their pitch. But a lot of teams now, a lot of players now, they look at it like, send me to Miami, man. Send me to XYZ, because I can get, some of that stuff back in another way.
Well, I think we can contend for our price. We don't necessarily have to pay this amount just to increase our odds by 5% or whatever it would be. But I think this you see Christian McCaffrey going to the 49ers. You see the deals that the Eagles make. Like, to me, it's go make one of those moves. And you didn't want to give up the capital fine. Pay the money.
I agree. I don't know that this is the move. I don't know. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it, but I'm not gonna go overpay. I'm not gonna get in a bidding war for Odell Beckham. The Eagles, when they trade for somebody, it's a healthy player, typically.
But he's gonna get cleared.
He's gonna get cleared. He's definitely gonna get cleared. There's no doubt about that.
No doubt.
But again, I'm just talking about this year, because if you sign him, I'm assuming you sign him for multiple years.
Probably
this year,
2 years. So
just this season, how effective is he gonna be?
Who knows? That's
Stephen Jones talked last week. Let's just jump back a little bit. Stephen Jones talked last week out at the stadium where he announced the Billy Joel Stevie Nicks concert in April. Brian Broaddus already told me, by the way, he's going to be there because he missed out on Stevie Nicks and Kyle.
No doubt, man. That's Love of the Star, man. Shout out to those boys on 105.3 The Fan. To check out that full episode, they go into details of everything. It's about 9 to 10 minutes long. It's in the chat area. You can check it out there. I appreciate those guys and all of their support for Cowboy Nation. All right, so let me give you guys the updates of everything. And if you guys follow my YouTube and Facebook, and shout out to my guy, Defy Talk Sports. He's the Defy Talk Cowboys on this right here on the Instagram. And he got some updates and everything dealing with Zeke and Hooker. But the update part on Hooker is this right here, Cowboy Nation. According to the information that's reported throughout the NFL or around the NFL, Hooker will be available this game, as well as Sam Williams. Those guys will be available this upcoming game, and that bye week was a very, very vital for these guys' recovery. And as we look at everything, I can tell you for sure that we really need Hooker on the back end. He's the last line of defense. He's having a remarkable year this season as our safety. And one thing that I know for sure, do you want to know why? Hooker been remarkable this year? Because you don't even mention him in the games, right? When you have a safety that's playing on the back end, right, the last line of defense, and you don't really bring him up, like back in the days, we used to talk about J.J. Wilcox and the other guy that stayed here forever. What's that guy's name? He's the tip of my tongue. All of our safeties, man, I don't even want to go through them. But you guys get what I'm saying. That we now don't even mention the safeties. And, of course, KZ last year was kind of like that hit or miss guy, right? You know, the cold and warm guy. Some days he cold, some days he warm. Jeff Heath, God dog it. You know, God dog, I can't believe I forgot about Jeff Heath. Yeah, Jeff Heath. Barry Church became solid, but he wasn't playing like Malik Hooker, right? You know, so now that we got finally safeties in the building, we don't have to really worry about them blowing coverages and being misplaced and things like that. But shout out to J.J. Wilcox, man. You know, don't want him to do me like my guy Felix Jones did. But shout out to you, Jeff Heath, too, and J.J. Wilcox, you know. But the other news that that he talked about, and shout out to Defy Talk, be sure to check him out on Instagram, is Ezekiel Elliott. The updates from today was that Ezekiel Elliott, he is feeling much better than what he felt the previous week, and he will see if he can give it a go to practice this week. And if he play, he will have a knee brace on. And my thing is, if he don't practice fully, you know, this week, and if he's a little stiffer, then, you know, what's the rush, right? You know, I think that the Green Bay Packers defense is okay, but you can run at those boys. And I think that if with Malik Davis and, of course, Tony Pollard can give you rest assurance that Ezekiel Elliott can be back into the mix, maybe in Minnesota's game or down the line. The tricky part of our schedule is in November. Always tricky. We can't complain about the sun for shining, right? When we get the spotlight, that's just what it is. We're going to be back to those 3 games in 12 days type of deal. Y'all know how it goes, or 3 games in 15 days, however it is this season. But we finna hit a god doggone schedule that is not the scheduling. Hear me out. It's not the scheduling of the opposition. It's more so the scheduling of the war of attrition. It's not the schedules of the opposition. It's the schedule of the war of attrition. The great thing about it, Cowboys Nation, is that we're going to have 3 games after these 2 road games at home. So that's a good thing to have, right? Can Bryce Butler get some playing time? I like him, JoJo. Oh, my gosh, man. Oh, my gosh, man. Bryce Butler, shout out to him, man. He's still recovering from a hamstring, man, and he's doing some type of radio now. Shout out to him, a good friend of the family Cowboys experience as well. So Bryce Butler is that dude. But, yeah, he's still nursing that hammy. You know, so it is what it is. Appreciate you, my dog. Green Bay whole team is injured. Yes, from Tyrone Church. Their version of not Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Jones. He got an injury deal. That was also reported by my guy, Defy Talk. Aaron Jones, he having a situation that he's got an ankle deal, right? That they had to go further with x-rays to see if anything broken, but it's still like inflamed, and he may not play. And I'm not celebrating, I'm not cheering for anyone to be injured, by the way. But I do look at these moments and I say, well, when that lion is ready to eat, when it's time to bite down on that zebra, you know, if you're from that location, right? Or that gazelle. He don't ask, hey, are you a little gimpy? Are you limping? The lion is always hungry. And it's going to it's going to eat the weaker ones first. So that's just how it is. You know, that's how it goes. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. So I'm not cheering. I'm not the one that celebrate and pull out pom-poms and cheerlead like other fan bases do when they got to face the backups or what have you and walk off with the chest all up and say, look what we done. But what I'm saying is, let's go, Cowboy Nation. So that's just my thoughts of it. Back to this part right here. What do this game means? The Cowboy players are playing for Iron Mike or Big Mike McCarthy. They are. And this part right here, Cowboy Nation, is the reason why he still has strong ties and strong love and strong emotions. This is Iron Mike McCarthy at the presser. Feel the emotions.
I mean, the lifestyle in Dallas, Texas is incredible. I mean, this has been an incredible opportunity for us as a family. But, you know, Jessica was born there, kids were born there. So, people, Mr. People.
How can you not like Mike McCarthy? If you team Mike McCarthy, let me see MM in the chat. And if you're not a team of Mike McCarthy, put no MM. I've been doing this poll. We did it on the D round table. We did it on the final word. We did it everywhere. I want to know if you team Mike McCarthy, because I believe that those players, they be mentioning Mike McCarthy. And I get it, you know, he may not look and be the person that a lot of people would sit back and say, hey, man, you know, I'm pushing everything in the middle of the table. No, Mike McCarthy, these guys are willing to almost stand in front of a train for this dude. You know, I see a lot of people, MM in the chat, man, Team Big Mike McCarthy. I see y'all. So this team is different. I know my guy, Big AJ, he said this is the same team. I said, no, this is not the same team. And after week one, we was going back and forth with each other. And I told him, I'm not eating my crow. This team is different. I see something different. See something that's just different. And this team bringing that to the table. Look at all those MMs in there. I only saw like one NM in there. You think Dez Bryant burnt the bridge for a comeback? Yeah. Shout out to my guy Dez Bryant. And, you know, shout out to Dez Bryant. Yup, and he ain't coming back, man. And then it would be shame to see Dez Bryant without 8-8 playing for this team. Come on, man. You know, that just wouldn't even settle right in the soul. You know, but I see a lot of people with MMs in the chat. It's like it's equivalent, you know, Cowboy Nation, for the Dez Bryant, right, to come back. It's equivalent to asking, you know, Michael Irvin, come on back, man, after they didn't, you know, sign someone else or someone else got his 88, you know, and he's coming back with like another number. It's like, nah, it won't feel the same, right? It won't feel the same. So Dez, he's retired. You know, he got a great business. He done put $2 million into Personal Corner. Appreciate him and what he's doing with his business ventures there. And I like Dez Bryant doing those side bets with Meek Mills and everyone, right? So it is what it is. Shout out to Dez Bryant. I love seeing that everybody is Team Mike McCarthy. Positive vibe, positive energy goes a long way, Cowboy Nation. It do. So it's about 2:44, and normally I'll just be cranking open the show, you know, or getting started. But what I would like to do now is to, before I depart, maybe should we open the phone lines up? Should we? Let me know. Garrett could. Let me see what you say. It's better to read it over here. Common Sense Lab says Garrett could motivate players. Players buy into him. It's a difference. Common sense. Are you saying Garrett could not motivate the players, or Garrett could motivate the players? Players buy into, like, motivation is buying into said person, right? So I'm trying to figure out what you're saying. But to answer you from my opinions of it, Jason Garrett only motivated Garrett guys. He couldn't motivate the entire team. I look at Mike McCarthy, he have a unique way by being a football guy, and I'm not saying that Jason Garrett is not, but by being a different style of football guy, I'm using air quotes for those who watch this via the podcast, is that Mike McCarthy got a unique way to motivate all. And the whole argument, even with Dan Quinn, he got a unique way to motivate the defense, air quotes. I don't think that the levels of respect that you guys give Dan Quinn, far as for what he do on the defensive side, would be the same if he was the head coach. I truly believe that Dan Quinn is great at coaching defense, not the collective. And I look at Mike McCarthy's strengths is great at delegating and doing the whole collective, like using his input from a philosophy on the defense and offense and special teams. But I could be 1,000,000% wrong. So it is what it is. All right, so this is what I'm going to do for right quick. Let me check this out. Y'all bear with me. Get yourselves together on the phone lines.
I ran up call my phone, hit my line.
And I'll be right ahead over there.
Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for life. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Mobbing with my brothers, there's no question, keep it real. Whether we East coastin' or we in the Haven Hills. In the poppin' straps of blue faces, not the pills. Heard you callin' bluffs, I show and prove it is for real. Son of God, not a son of Sam. Keep it off the books and keep it coming in. Bitch, the old whip, see what I'm coming in. The inside caramel just like 100 grand. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for life. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Keep it super thug my way on this side. Call my phone, hit my line. Only ones who down for real, down for life. Keep it
There are 2 participants in the conference.
Keep it super thug my way on this side.
Please announce yourself.
Heard you moving funny, had to cut you off. Had some more friends like my brothers, I can't trust it all.
All right, from the 240, you're live.
Hello.
What's good, man? Talk to me, man. Talk to me.
What's good? So I wanted to talk about the Cowboys situation. I love this season. I feel like I love Coach. I'm starting to like Coach McCarthy more because I feel like players are starting to buy more into him.
Mm-hmm.
What about it?
Say again?
What were you about to say?
No. Go ahead. You said you like Mike McCarthy, players buying into him. You said you started to like him, right? Yeah.
I wasn't too sure about him, but it wasn't his fault because, Dak Prescott went down.
Right.
But I feel like before when we used to be down at half, it was basically game over with Jason Garrett, I just felt like. But now I feel like we can come back from anything. In terms of the team, I love the team. I love the defense. Michael for Defensive Player of the Year just got his jersey.
Yeah.
But one thing that sort of starting to alarm me is our offense. And
the conference has been locked.
But I don't think it's over the top good. And I think the addition of Odell Beckham will help our offense.
Right.
The thing is, I really wish we would just go all in. But, because I think we have a Super Bowl roster, but that doesn't mean that anybody else, that not everyone else in the NFL doesn't have a Super Bowl ready roster. The Chiefs do, the Bills do,
right.
The Eagles do, the Vikings do.
Right.
But, I think we have to start separating ourselves from the NFL, just like how other teams, just like how the Bills do, just like how the Eagles do, just like how the Chiefs do. I think we need to go all in. That's what I think personally.
No doubt. Your assessment is spot on. The reason why we can say it from this perspective is that the NFL is wide open now. There's no clear shot at a team that's saying that, okay, they're going to just go straight through this process without losing now. And I get it. A lot of people from the Eagles community, they may say otherwise and say, nah, they're going to win a Super Bowl. But I'm looking at it like, real talk, man, regardless of how Eagle fans may look at this, and this is no shade or salt, but there are a lot of holes that I'm seeing. That's very beatable. They didn't play a team. They had caught the right time, the right stream to get to where they at 8-0. But when you look at everything, you can clearly see that the NFL is wide open.
So do you yourself, your true and honest assessment, do you think that our offense will be enough with CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Noah Brown as our wide receiver core?
It's proven that you can win with those games with those guys, right? But the only part of it is that you may have your reservations on is that Noah, he got banged up a little bit, right? And Gallup, he's a twist ankle away from it just being CeeDee Lamb. And I get it. You can say that for any team, but what you're trying to do is the statement that I made earlier. I'm trying to better my best, and if there's an option available for me on the outside, why not bring him in? It wouldn't hurt versus, you know what I'm saying? It wouldn't hurt.
That's my thing. I love our team, and I think we're ready. Can we be better?
Yeah.
Even if it doesn't make us a whole lot better, will Odell make us better? Yes. So I think we go and get him. Because the Chiefs, do they need Kadarius Toney? I saw Kadarius Toney only get like 2 catches last night, but they still went out and got him.
Right.
Did the Eagles need Robert Quinn? No. Does it make them better? There's a possibility that it makes them better.
Right.
But I think if Jerry really believes, if Jerry really believes that we have a roster, I think we go out and we do it. So
no doubt, man. And the craziest thing of it all is that last year, think about it. Did the Rams really need it, Odell? No, they didn't. They didn't need him. but dog, I bet you they was proud and they was happy that they got him because the next game, Robert Woods, he tore up something, right? And they were able to stay afloat. That is being prepared. That's being ready. Right? You stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That's that mindset, right? So it'll be foolish and idiotic for the Cowboys to say, all right, we good. If you got that sources that's available, then do exactly what the team that just won the Super Bowl did. That's all I'm saying with this whole statement. Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of people in your comments, and I'm gonna shut that down right now. People are saying that Odell Beckham is a diva. Let me tell you, he's not a diva. Yeah, when he was back in the Giants days, he was a diva. You could say he was a diva in the Baker Mayfield situation, but I feel like our situation is better. He's won. He's tasted victory before. Now that we can bring him in, he's someone in the locker room that's not a coach like Coach McCarthy, who has Super Bowl experience, but a player that has Super Bowl experience. So do I think he could come here and be, not the clear-cut leader because we know who the leaders are on this team.
Right.
But do we think that he could become another leader? Of course I do.
Right.
But I really wish we could have gotten a deep threat, though. But I just felt like Carolina was asking too much of DJ Moore.
No doubt, man. I appreciate you so much for calling in, fam. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Will. I watch all your streams every day.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man. It's a good call from you, man. Keep it up, man. Thank you from the 240. That was him. Common Sense Lab says Garrett had his guys' truth, right? He motivated his guys, right? There's no doubt about that. You can tell the players believe that Mike McCarthy teaches and the passions of the individuals, of the passions of the individuals. Plus, Mike McCarthy can win without a starting quarterback. You're right. That's been our impediment, man, or downfall, or thorn in our side when we had the previous head coach. All right, so from the 214, Chris, you're live. Oh, Chris 214, my bad. I'm calling you from the 214, but you may be from that area, man. My bad. Chris, what's good with you from the 972?
It's all good. I was just gonna make this point right here. This year is a very big year for us. It's very big in terms of I can't remember the last time that we made the playoffs in back-to-back years. I don't know when.
07.
So
06, 07.
Okay. Well, yeah. As far as that right there, man, that's so big because I feel like, you can't really build a culture when one year you out the playoffs and then you don't get back in until one or, you know what I'm saying? It's just, when you look at teams like the Chiefs or like when Tom Brady was with the Patriots, making the playoffs, that's like the bare minimum.
Yeah.
That's the bare minimum. Everybody expects you to. So I think that's what Mike McCarthy is doing, and I love it because it's no better way to keep that winning style of football if you just keep on. You make the playoffs year after year after year. So that's all I really had, man. But I love that, and if we can make it this year, man, that'll be huge.
Yeah,
that's very huge.
Think about it, man.
But
The pandemic year, Chris. The team that won the division only won one more game than us, or it could have been two or something like that. So we wasn't that far off in 2020. It's just that we gave Mike McCarthy the mulligan, and on top of that, we had a historically bad defense that year. By the way, no one in the NFL had a worse defense than the Cowboys 2020. We was top 5 in that category. But I appreciate you for calling in, and I thank you so much for being part of it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good call from Chris. 214. So when we say these type of things, Cowboy Nation, we got to look at it in that light, right? That this team circumstances, yes, it takes a minute to terraform something, right? To change out old ways, to rip apart the old things that was such a stronghold to this team. And one can argue that some of that foundation is still here, but Mike McCarthy and his group of guys, they've been tearing it down piece by piece in a good way, right? And he had some strong ties in 2020. I recall defensive players saying, hey, the defense was too complicated. We not buying into what the philosophy is. They were stuck in the old ways. And then when Dan Quinn got here in 2021, he was a hands-on type of coach. He got a chance to really say, hey, I'm gonna put my hands on you. Matter of fact, you doing this drill wrong. Hey, equipment guy, put that water bottle down. Bring me a helmet over here. Give me some shoulder pads. Let me show these guys how to get down with it, right? And then from there, people start gravitating to him. And then Mike McCarthy slowly been putting into this offense, especially after week 1, by the way, for the 2022 season, West Coast principles, right? And philosophies to help out Kellen Moore. And Kellen Moore going into his 4th year now, been remarkable for us. So now I got Coach Marv that's on the line from the 803. Coach Marv, you're live.
What's going on, Law? How you doing, brother?
Great. I can't complain, Coach.
I got just a couple of things I want to unveil. Y'all said bidding war. He ain't got no bidding war. Who gonna bid for $20 million with a guy that's been hurt? And I don't even think we've been watching the season last year. First 3-4 games, Odell Beckham was no difference maker for the Rams. If you look back at his time there, the Super Bowl was his best game.
That 49ers game, he had got some pivotal catches in that game too to get him to
that. We talking about pivotal catches.
Yeah.
Well, he got one or two catches, and I don't consider them those catches he got was because he was an all-world route runner.
Right, drive extenders. Yeah. I feel what you're saying, Coach. And those moments, yeah.
Let's see if the bidding war would be. And just think about this: who throws the money around more than anybody in the league?
Well, shoot, I don't even know, Coach. It was the Rams. It was the Rams.
He came for the Rams and threw. Okay, if they ain't bidding, they already know what's up with it.
Coach came out and said that he would love to have him for the
Rams ain't bidding. They already know what's up with it.
I think that he probably scratched that one out. The Rams not even in. I don't think they're a contender.
The Rams ain't bidding.
Yeah, they ain't a contender.
They don't care.
And Coach, what he was saying too is that he wants somewhere for a long stay, not a short time.
And listen, he wants a place with a long stay with a short time. And if that's the case, I wouldn't touch it with a 5-foot pole. For what?
I feel you, Coach.
I mean, you know something? Names. That's all this is about.
No, I think this is more. I think this is more of like the lipstick on the pig. I think that the Cowboys know that they didn't do what they supposed to. Like if they did what they supposed to do during the off season, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Well,
I think that
my question is this, Bob. My question is this. I hear you when you say we don't, the knows and don't know. See, I remember. See, my memory is good, right? I remember before last season when we were running the same thing because we said, man, Curse ain't, man, we need somebody with a name. These defensive line, we don't know. They were 4th-round draft picks. We don't know about that guy. We don't know about this guy. We don't know about that guy. But if they start playing, now we know about them. But we say this guy's on the street because they got the name that they're going to come in and miraculously pick up on the offense where this offense has never been you consider to be very creative in, right? And then be productive in a short period of time where we have had a hard time getting productivity and the right scheme for guys that we have had for 3 to 4 years. But we say that that's what's going to put us over the top. I watched a team last night with the great Patrick Mahomes, and I watched I watched 2 knowns on that team, and everybody else is an unknown, could be known, don't know, could have been, but they're making it work.
Yeah, they don't win that game last night without Travis Kelce, though. They don't win that.
That's their main guy. But y'all shanking CD Lamb with a butter knife because you said after 5 games, after 3 games with his starting quarterback, nah, he's not that guy. But see, I'm gonna go back again. I remember when Mari Cooper started out.
Right.
I remember how he had a very big time drops when he was with LA.
I get where you're going with this one, Coach. But Travis Kelce been consistent with his bailing out of Patrick Mahomes, right, and help everybody else out. I truly believe that in that game, Juju Smith-Schuster. You see, the reason why they're not going around talking about Odell Beckham is because the offseason. They said, you know what, Juju Smith-Schuster, he's not a 1, he's not a 3, he's a solid 2 that we can put on his team. And I know for sure the main source for that team is still Travis Kelce, right? They just brought him in to help elevate. But I'm quite sure if they had like a guy, like a Jalen Tolbert or something like that, in that game, they probably wouldn't have. They would probably been on the Odell Beckham sweepstakes, too.
I understand what you're saying about
yeah.
with the players, but I say this, and I put it this way: this is the main issue.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a time we had Gallup without the he hurt knee, Amari Cooper, and we had a guy that y'all argued one time when the final word was he's the game changer, but then y'all was arguing between him and Amari Cooper, and is he crazy now that now we talking about bringing other game changers in, and he done fell off the boat. But I remember those offenses, and I remember with Adalton Schultz, with all and how scary that was.
Mm-hmm.
And I watched us be pathetic in big games offensively with that firepower, as we call firepower.
Let me ask you this, though, Coach. Coach, let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
And don't shank me with the butter knife, man. You know I love you.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
When we lost Gallup, and let's say in a world of worlds we did, if we picked up Odell Beckham last year, the drop that Cedric Wilson had, and if you just pick up Odell Beckham, would Odell Beckham drop that ball?
Yeah. I had to check the drop stats on Odell Beckham. They probably led the league in a couple years. Check them out, Long.
You would to believe. Let me. I know, Coach, but are you with the belief that Cedric Wilson is a better ball player for the Cowboys than Odell Beckham?
No, Odell Beckham would be a better player.
Well, that's what I'm looking at. See, this team, like the Rams did the inverse of what we did. I'm not trying to. No, Coach. I'm not calling fantasy football, but they went and picked up Odell for insurance, right? And when Robert Woods went down, they didn't bat an eye because it's like, all right, we can insert this once before.
Robert Woods, and let me correct that. Robert Woods went down before that they picked up.
No. They picked up Odell Beckham, and then Robert Woods went down
Robert
the next
Woods
week.
Was hurt many weeks before that. Then he went down.
Yeah, he was hurt. He was already gimping.
Yeah.
But I remember listening to Troy Aikman, and Troy Aikman was saying that Robert Woods is one of the most underrated wide receivers in this game. And I think that
they felt that they had a need to go get another wide receiver. And they still won games when Odell Beckham was still trying to get acclimated.
Yeah, it took him a game or so.
He wasn't. Yeah. He did the first 3 games. And then you brought a guy in that wasn't coming off an injury. It took him 3 games to get started, but he was coming in off of playing. And he wasn't coming off of an injury. There is no bidding war. I guarantee you. If he considers it, the only reason he got a bidding war is because he done got the Cowboy fans hyped. No other team is crazy like the Cowboy fans.
Yeah.
Check it out. I bet you there will be no bidding war for a guy coming off of ACL. I'm guaranteed there will be no bidding war. If the Cowboys give a 2-year contract, it's based off what we as fans feel.
Right.
There's a groundswell of saying he is the one.
Here's my thoughts on this.
That's what it is. There won't be no bidding war.
Coach.
Bidding war with who?
Here's my thoughts on this, though. And I've been saying go get a known commodity. You know me. I've been saying I was yelling DK Metcalf before the season kicked off. But here's my thoughts on this, Coach. Here's my thoughts. Here's my thoughts on this.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say this. Dang, I forgot what I was about to say, Coach. God dog, it's gonna be a good, perfect layup for what I'm gonna say. But go ahead with your thoughts, and then I'm gonna go back. It's gonna get back to my mind.
I think a lot of people says that they had those ideas because regardless of what players do, we have perception on them, and we just waiting on the axe to fall. Regardless of they're playing just as good as the guys that we talking about could have brought in.
Oh, now it came to me, Coach. It came to me, Coach. The same people.
Waiting on the axe to fall.
Waiting on the axe to fall. But the same people were banging on the table for Anthony Barr And look what he done, right? He gave us one good game, right? And we said that how much we needed.
He gave us more than one good game.
He gave the Cincinnati game was his only good game that I can tell you. Every other game he been solid on. He been solid.
I watched him too, but yeah, solid. Yeah.
He been solid.
He ain't been no slack for it.
he been solid. He was solid in that Washington game, but he wasn't like, oh wow, you know. But I can tell you, the thing is that we understand all of that. The only reason why we was banging on the table for Anthony Barr is because deep down in our hearts, we knew that we needed somebody to help out in that linebacker room. And we got him, and then that honeymoon is over with. It's similar vibes of Odell Beckham right now because I think that people have their reservations on his wide receiver core, right?
And why they got their reservations?
Because of the previous quarterback. I can guarantee you that. Because the numbers, we are 27th ranked offense or something like that. We haven't been moving the ball. We haven't been scoring. So what we got to do now is we got to hustle back to get this offense back trickling. Now, we have 2 games in a row that my guy, because I disagree. I disagree with my guy, the OC, when he said that 88 is not a true number 1 wide receiver. I'm saying that, hey, different wide receivers work differently, especially with different quarterbacks. For example, before y'all hold on, let me say this one more point, Coach. Cedric Wilson is nowhere. Cedric Wilson, they got a missing person report for him, right? Cedric Wilson. But when he was on the Cowboys, he was making a name for himself. Why? Because you had Dak Prescott, right? So my thing is Dak Prescott also helped elevates the wide receivers to a degree. And you can't really paint the young wide receiver going into his 3rd year. His number 1 quarterback went down, and he had to play 5 games without him, right? And that's just what I wanted to say with the OC, and I'll talk to him again on the final word about that. You know what I'm saying? But go ahead.
I agree with you on that, Law. I agree with you on that. But we can't denigrate the receivers and say the receivers are not good if the ball is not going their way. It's not saying that they're not open.
Right.
So again, you had just got your first game with your quarterback in rhythm after he got, which you didn't do anything preseason. So everybody played bad against Tampa Bay. So you can't talk about this season. If you go back, Dak didn't have a very good game either with being on time with his throws.
No doubt.
So then he's out, and then you come back. He has, after 5 games, he plays against Detroit. The first game, you feel like he got in rhythm. The receiver didn't look bad, and you had one less. Yeah. And then we went to the same groundswell of saying what we need. Tyreek Hill is leading the league in receiving, right?
Right.
All with the games that Tua played. The games that Tua didn't play, he was non-existent.
Right, true that. Ooh, I love this conversation, man. But that's the whole argument. That's the whole argument that Tua is doing those things, and trust me, let's not sleep on Waddle and the weaponries that they got over there.
The whole passing game was non-existent with Tua out.
That's true.
And with Tua in, it's remarkable. But we're grading our receiver core off a guy that we know for one game he only threw 15 passes. One game he only threw for 100 yards.
In another game, he threw for 10 passes against the L.A. Rams.
You know what it is?
Well, 16 passes.
We have allowed the media to say, all of these, I'm going to tell you, Lord, it goes back to this. It's not that we got questions about the passing game. It really goes back to this, and we have to ask ourselves, Cowboy fans, this question. Do we really believe that the formula is the formula? Or are we looking for reasons not to believe it?
Well, Coach, you already know that Mike McCarthy, he said today, from his mouth to all ears, he like his guys, especially his wide receiver core. Yeah.
And we still say Mike McCarthy must be crazy. man, we need some more receivers. We need game changers. What we see in this guy, nah, we don't see that.
But I'm not. Look. My job. I'm gonna bring some objectivity to the table, though, Coach. I'm just gonna say, right now, I get it. Right, you know, it's hard for us to grade Jalen Tolbert. You know, of what his levels of production would have be with and James Washington. You know, those two wide receivers, we don't know. It's still the unknown, Coach.
What you asking for James Washington when you come in?
I'm asking for James Washington to be better than Noah Brown. I'm asking for James Washington to be that guy that can help alleviate some of the pressures from CeeDee Lamb. I'm asking for James Washington in a pinch to be healthier, a little shiftier than even Michael Gallup. You know, because two different type of injuries. He only had a broken foot opposed to an ACL tear. So that's what I'm looking for.
This one I know this is a bias of not liking the player. If Noah Brown was any other receiver, we'll be standing on the table talking about how good he's been playing this year. But since he's Noah Brown, we say it ain't good enough.
No, declaring for a wide receiver to be better than Noah Brown is a compliment basically to Noah Brown. I want James Washington to be better. He's been perceived to be better, right? Throughout his careers or what have you. He was drafted higher, right?
He's a fourth wide receiver, Law. And what you want from your fourth wide receiver?
Catch the ball when he's thrown his way.
Maybe one or two catches, maybe one big play, maybe every 2-3 games. This is how the NFL, this is how football works. If you think your fourth wide receiver is going to be out there, he's going to catch 6-7 passes, then we live in fantasy football. You want him to come out there, he may not even get 50% of the play. With his fourth wide receiver, with our formations, he might get 15, 10 snaps.
Well, Coach,
he might.
Coach, what I'm saying is that we've seen, like, in the biggest of the biggest and the brightest of the brightest stage. You can look back at any game in the history of the NFL.
And
Noah Brown wasn't there.
Doesn't make the play.
I'm just saying what I'm saying is that, you know this, Coach, a known commodity is better than the unknown. But the unknown have unbelievable potentials. So if Noah Brown is going to be that guy, and if you want to push all your chips in the middle of the table on Noah Brown, then you better hope that number hit. That's all I'm saying.
Let me ask you a question.
Talk to me.
How the known got known?
How the known got known? By becoming known. So I appreciate you so much, Coach, man.
How the known got known covers 100%. Everything else we talk about 50, 20, 30%. But how the known got known covers 100%.
But this the whole argument, though, because Odell Beckham can walk right in there and say, hey, this is the moment. How it is in playing in a divisional championship game, you know what I'm saying, or a Super Bowl.
Odell Beckham come in because he got leadership qualities.
There's nobody else that can say that, Coach. I appreciate you. I love you, Coach, man. Let me hear you say it, though. I gotta let you say how about them Cowboys or something. I just can't let you leave without saying it.
Cowboys, man. We gonna be all right, man. Y'all just calm down. We good, man. We gonna be good, man. We all right.
No doubt, man. That's Coach Marv, y'all, man. That's good old Coach Marv, man. Oh, yeah, man. He was the last caller of the day. But I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. I hope you guys understand what he said, is that they're, at the end of the day, the Cowboys, if they're going to bet that the wide receivers that they got right now are eligible to do those things and take us all the way to the Super Bowl and beyond and win playoff games, then they can't leave no doubt on the table, right? They can't leave no excuses on the table. We can't be, at the end of the day, we can't be walking away from the game saying, man, only if Cedric Wilson could contort his body just a little bit more because the ball hit him in the hands, right? We can't use that, right? Because Cedric Wilson gone, and we tried to use that analogy last year, and people like, no excuses, right? But I'm quite sure that we'd probably be a plus touchdown if Michael Gallup was in that game last year, right? Or we'd probably be a plus point better on first downs, or a plus point better on second downs, or a yard better on third downs. But you got to make sure. You got to make sure that you are ready in order. You know, you got to stay ready to be ready. That's the best way to say it. That's the best way. I'm not trying to talk in circles with you guys, right? All I'm saying is, too, is I'm like the weatherman. I'm just saying, hey, it's a 90% chance of rain. And you walk out there boldly and say, hey, I don't need the umbrella. And then when it starts raining, you can't get mad at the weatherman, right? That's all. That's the best analogy I could use. That's the best analogy I could use. But that was the argument, Clemens, for last year. When people said, when we had availability to go grab wide receivers, people said, no, we okay. We got Cedric Wilson. We got Noah Brown. We got Amari Cooper. We got CeeDee Lamb, right? That was the argument for last year. And nobody wanted to reach down in the pockets. And then it was too late to have that guy that can help be that person. But the philosophy still should be run the ball, and if they stick to the philosophy, then it don't matter about the wide receiver, of course. You know, Cowboy Nation, it shouldn't matter about that. And as we depart, you guys know what I'm talking about. Stick to the philosophy, run the ball. You got the explosive guy out of Tony Pollard. And you got the explosiveness out of Kevontae Turpin. Maybe if you put him on a 9 route, maybe you drag him underneath. Maybe you do more than just jet sweeps, huh? Open up this offense so that 88 can eat, right? And we'll see how a full season of 88 and Dak Prescott look, because, well, now a half of the season. We halfway through this thing. We 6-2, not 2-6. Big E says Lamb can't handle the pressure himself. I feel you. I absolutely feel you. I believe that when you start looking down the list, that could be said to a Cooper Kupp, right? It wasn't just him running those routes last year by himself, right? He had somebody beside him. Boy, you can argue and say, hey, even the playmaker had Alvin Harper, right? Come on. Kevin Williams step in, right? There's multiple ways. It's a team game. Yeah, I feel y'all. Come on. It's about going out there and developing your team. As little moves that we make. And I'm going to give a little shine to those Eagles just for this moment. They make plenty of moves. We make a few moves. And they got more cap space than us. So it's not about the money. They sitting at $11 million of availability. The Cowboys at 6. They went out there and got an A.J. Brown to suffice their #1 draft pick. And you don't hear bickering and fighting amongst them. Who's better, A.J. or Devontae? You know. But the Cowboy Nation, the only nation that we fight amongst ourselves and we sully and denigrate and we put down our own. How come we can't stand tall, right? Let's bring in some people or someone to help and stop deviating the moment, Cowboy Nation. We're 6-2. And when you can see or bring in somebody to help elevate said your first round draft pick from a few years ago, there's nothing wrong with that. It's not. It's about the W-I-N at the end. If you want a thing bad enough to go out there and fight for it, to work day and night for it, to give up your time, your peace, and your sleep for it, if all of your desires of it makes you quite mad enough that you don't get tired of it, and it makes you hold all other things tawdry and cheap, if life itself seems empty and useless without it, and all that you scheme and dream is about it, if you'll gladly go out there and sweat for it, fret for it, plan for it, and lose all terror of your mind for it, if you will simply go after the thing you want, if dogged and grim and besieged and beset it with the help of Almighty Cowboy Nation and everyone that's listening, you will get it. That's been my time. Let's go. Come on, y'all. Y'all need to stop fighting over it. Put some pieces around, CD. Who knows? Come on. Let's go. Roll credits. Shout out to you, Sadiqwa, Steady, Vic, J. Lombardi, Randall Hillis, Mike, Birdie, Coach Mar, JoJo, Christopher 214, Common Sense Lab, Enrique, shout out to you, boy, appreciate you, 252, let's go, come on, let's roll them credits now with some fire in there, come on. Hey, think about that though. A lot of people now looking at it like, yeah, let me prove that law is wrong. Then they look up and say, oh yeah, law right. TA, drive safe, appreciate you. Davis, shout out to you. Damon, I know you still roll tide. LSU done got that butt though, you know? Talk to me about it, man. Come on. Shout out to the JSU too. Appreciate y'all. Come on. Boy, get out the way. It's been a day. Now you're old news. Now you got the pen and pad. You're trying to take my moves. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. 13-4. Gut bomber. Let's go. Paul, appreciate you. No, please, no photos. Yeah. Nowadays, nothing really excites me. Only one of me and nobody's like me. Phone ringing and I tell him it's ice. I got wifey on bling and she ice. Please, photo, please, no photos. Jeez, no, please, no photos. VIP, appreciate y'all, man. Be sure to check out other content creators that's live right now. Check out the VIP lounge as well, you know. Come on. Choctaw, what's good? Ohio State in the house. Again. Yeah. Until next time. Salute. 15-2 looks very possible.